Evertonians getting in touch, because it seems now that with the Friedkin Group in charge, it might be a matter of time before Sean Dyche leaves the football club. We shall see. We shall see. Sean Dyche, of course. We like the fella. He's been in this very studio with us. And Sean Dyche is the sort of guy that says what he means and means what he says. But now there is a conversation amongst Evertonians that maybe the Friedkin Group will go to a man that they employed at one stage at Roma, because they own Roma as well. And that man was Jose Mourinho. There's Neil, who's an Everton fan. I would like to see Mourinho given the job. If nothing else, we will actually see whether or not he is a special one, because, my God, he'll need to be. Simon, what do you think? Mourinho, is there a place for Mourinho, even now, after all this time, back in the Premier League with a club like Everton?
I don't know. I mean, he's not setting the heather on fire, is he? Where he is now. I mean, he is with some of the things that he says, which I don't think are particularly constructive, because that's Jose at times. He often says some very, very good things, and like all of us, he says some things that are not so good. The brand of football, if that's a complaint, I don't see how that's going to change with Mourinho, because he's not known for being the most exciting and attacking manager. There was the one side that he had in the first season that he had that was quite a decent side in terms of easy on the eye. But it didn't end brilliantly at Roma. With him, I don't know what his state of his relationship is with with Dan Friedkin and his guys. I don't see it, because Mourinho normally likes to be in a situation where he has an opportunity to be cock of the walk. Yeah, and he's not going to have that with Everton. And
would it be a statement appointment?
Well, it would certainly make a statement. I don't know what statement it would be making in terms of you've got one of the leading recognisable managers that once upon a time he was arguably the best manager in world football. He's not anymore. Time's moved on. Nothing lasts forever. I think he's still a compelling individual, and he'll provide eyes on the prize, and he'll get the media at it, and he'll get certain aspects of Everton at it, and then he'll probably bring his usual brand of disruption, because he won't be able to get what he wants when he wants it, how he wants it, and Everton will struggle. I don't think it's the right appointment for them. I don't think it's probably the right appointment from Jose Mourinho.
On your day as a club owner, could you have worked with Mourinho?
I think so. Yeah, I think that with top managers, you have to know where your lane is and where theirs are. And it's very clear where their lane is, being successful at their job, and leave them to it and give them a high degree of autonomy over what they do and don't do and how they do and don't behave. And if they step across the line and within the region of respect, you refocus their minds. But yeah, I think so. I think you have to be clear with these guys. You know, I had some difficult managers in my time, and sometimes it's not always easy, and sometimes you have a relationship with them on both a personal and professional level. But the most important relationship is the professional one. And I think most of the time you have to be clear with them. You have to be absolutely clear with football managers where the lines are. You have to stick to what you say you're going to do. And if you deviate from that, then it has to be given to the manager as to the reasons why. Not because you're accountable to them, but because you said you're going to do something. Yeah. I think with people like Mourinho, I think sometimes football enables people to obfuscate and not do what they say they're going to do.
I'm seeing so many messages coming in. The word divisive. Sorry, it's too divisive for us, is one Evertonian. There's another one. Peter, I really enjoy the show, guys. Thanks, Peter. They need a coach who can build this team, develop our players. Southgate might fit the profile reasonably well. Mourinho is divisive.
I find that flabbergasting. I really do.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Is it better
because he had an embarrassingly rich amount of talent to manage England with, and he managed to put some accord in the dressing room. He gets a peerage, which I think is ridiculous. Doesn't win anything, and all of a sudden he's the go-to guy for managers. I find it perplexing. Gareth is a very pleasant fellow.
He'd bring about stability.
Would he? They don't want stability. They want winning.
Oh, they want stability.
Winning stability.
No, the messages coming in are that Mourinho would be too divisive.
Stability comes from winning. And winning, and then ultimately from winning, you want a certain type of football that engages people. There's a way of playing football that the Everton fans appreciate. Ironically, they had it with Martinez. They had it with Silva. They didn't want it. They hounded him out the door. Yeah, but they're now harking for David Moyes back. They got fed up with David Moyes 10, 11 years ago.
Brighton don't win every week, but they're stable. Brentford don't win every week, but they're stable.
But the expectation of Everton is very different. I mean, Everton are not unstable. What they've had is a very bad ownership model that put them into financial hock and ultimately found themselves consequence that put them into real jeopardy.
Well, talking about that, I mean, Farhad told this very show, it's become a bit of a Hollywood appointment. You know, somebody like Ancelotti, somebody like Koeman. Yeah. Mourinho could be argued in that category, a bit of a Hollywood appointment. They've done that. They've been in that movie, have they not?
Yeah, I mean, I if you will recall, I was very troubled by the Ancelotti appointment. I mean, obviously, history looks kindly on it because of what's followed it. But I never felt it was an appointment that was going to work particularly well. I remember talking to Frank Arneson about it, and he was like, okay. I think he went because it was the highest bidder. I think ultimately they were prepared to pay more money than Arsenal were prepared to pay. That's why Ancelotti went there, brought in a series of players that Everton couldn't afford going forward, and then left when the first bigger opportunity came. And people will remember fondly that season because of what's transpired since. That doesn't mean it was the right fit for Everton Football Club, because Everton have to build something that has substance attached to it. Yes, of course I agree with the argument of stability, but stability comes from winning things and winning games, and then from that you build confidence and momentum, and then people stop talking about stability and they start talking about other opportunities.
Is it a case here though of better the devil you know? I mean, the Freakins know Mourinho inside out, back to front, whatever way. You know, they had him at Roma. They know what they get with him. It did go pear-shaped towards the end when he did step out of line.
Or once bitten, twice shy. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I don't know. I mean, ultimately, Mourinho, for me, I have always been a defender of him. I've always been someone that wants to appreciate the upsides of him rather than the downsides of him. But for Everton right now, with a new ownership model, I think they need to be looking forward about building a club. Again, the economics of Everton. If they are in a position to invest, who knows? The debate was being had this morning about do they have the money? I think Sam Allardyce was alluding, well, come on. The Freaking family have more money than God. They can have as much money as they want, but if they can't spend it because the PSR regulations restrict them from being able to do it, it doesn't matter how much money the ownership model's got. It only matters they're refinancing the stadium, so they're bringing down burdens on the financing costs, so there'll be more money around for Everton. I think a sensible decision would be to look probably elsewhere. It seems to me that the narrative is being written now for Sean Dyche's obituary. That seems to be the way that people are playing this out. And people are getting bolder and braver now and suggesting that Sean is on his last legs. We'll see. I mean,
he's a fighter, Dyche. God,
he is a fighter.
He'll
but
give it everything.
There is an argument. I do take the point. I mean, they are offensively quite poor, and there does need to be something different. I know you have to make the argument if you can't win games because you haven't got a goal scorer. And I've never been a Calvert-Lewin fan, never. I think he had one moment, one season of being a decent player. And I know he has individual games where he can perform very well, but they need something better than that. And they haven't got the money to get it. So this alternative is, what do you want to be? They're very difficult to play against. They're very difficult to score against more often than not. And so, you know, what's the alternative for Everton? Be a more expansive side and lose games and get relegated?
We shall see. Sean Dyche obviously still in the job, but all the talk, or a lot of talk at the moment, certainly around Jose Mourinho returning from Turkey, where he's in charge of Fenerbahce, to take over Everton.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.